Good evening, everyone. Thursday night, the 28th of October. This is an exciting time. We're almost there. We're almost out of this Victorian headache for now, and hopefully it is forever. Let's not sugarcoat that. That's for sure. Episode 64 of So What's Been Happening. It's been a journey, fair to say. 64 episodes. Just been talking to Tim backstage and having a chat about 64 episodes. It was never supposed to go past episode 1, which is and always an exciting feat when you look back. We joked about how we got to episode 10, then 20, then 50 all of a sudden, and we're pushing rapidly into the 60s now. So it's an exciting time. And just before we kick off, I'm just going to do what we normally do and just run past a few famous number 64s. There it was, snuck in the old Nintendo 64 and the Commodore 64, as well as When I'm 64 from the Beatles. So we just changed it up a little bit tonight, snuck in a few bits of gold in there. So without further ado, let's bring up with Cuz. How are you, mate?
G'day, Az. How are you, mate? Looking forward to having Tim come on a couple of minutes. Mate, 64, as you said, who would have thought we'd get to 64? Now, 64... Yeah. If we had been having this episode sort of 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have said 64 was the last time that Melbourne won the flag. But as we all know, 2021 is the last time the Mighty D's won the flag.
Fair to say the game has changed, mate. The game has changed. And
I'm pretty sure you're pretty happy about that. I know my mum's happy about it, and I know your mum's happy about it as well, and the rest of your family.
As you know, mate, I can't miss an opportunity. I won't go too far with that, mate. We've heard that a few times. It's an exciting period, mate. I can't wait. And for the first time in a long time, I can't wait for footy to be back already. Yes, it's exciting. That's for sure. 64 shows, Cuz. Who would have thought?
Oh, mate, look, it's without sounding sort of self-appreciating, I think with you especially, mate, you've got to give yourself a pat on the back that we've got this far, because you've been the major driver behind it. Obviously, myself and Lovey and Burke and others have hopped on. Dave Cosma done some great work as well, but you're the main driver, mate. So feather in your cap. But mate, I've enjoyed the journey, and I think it's a journey we're going to keep going on. So let's see what takes us.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we open up, just a quick visual shout out to all these incredible artists that we've had on our show so far. And I know there's a couple of names that I've probably missed in there recently, but I've failed to update the list as quick as I should. But shout out to every one of those great artists, whether they be visual artists, musical artists, bullshit artists in some cases, but they've all been part of our show, mate, and it's been great fun. We've had a great chat in relation to sport, art, and music, which is 3 of our biggest loves and 3 of our collective loves. So it's awesome to be able to combine that into a chat about a podcast about, very much a Seinfeld moment, a show about nothing. And it was literally started like that. And it's became a show about anything and everything now, which is really exciting. But let's kick off tonight's show with, as I mentioned, episode 64, with an incredible young talent. I know he'll be happy that I've called him a young talent, which I'm sure he is. He's not as young as some of our talents we've had, but let's bring him up, mate. The up and coming, let's leave it at that for now. Timothy Wolf. G'day, mate. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks heaps for having me. I'll definitely take young.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, always take that, mate. When anyone calls you young, doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I take that all the time,
thank-
mate.
Yeah,
I take young
no,
all the time.
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Just the intro, I'm already feeling so at home. We've got my boys, the Mighty D's, winning the flag.
Yes.
And
Good to have
the
another
year of
demon on, that's for sure.
64. Yeah, the Beatles, Nintendo 64. It's a great episode to be part of.
Now that's fantastic, Tim. But it wasn't mentioned by Az. Were you aware of this, Az, that Tim was a Demons fan as well, mate? Or
No, you snuck that in. That's all right. That's all about what tonight's about. We don't know a lot about Tim, and the exciting part is, we're going to get to know him, which is even awesome. And
for sure.
And we get to reach out to a few people that don't know and never heard of Timothy Wolf, and they will by the end of this. And the most awesome part is, made a brand new album, ready to get out there and bash it around Australia and then outside the world, mate. It's a great stepping stone.
Yeah, thank you. It was kind of when the pandemic hit last year, like March, I guess it was. I think myself, like everyone, was looking for something to do, and for myself, it was like, oh, here we go, we got some time off. I got to think of something to sew into, to do, and I'd wanted to put together an album together for a long time. I kind of already had these songs and everything sitting at about 70%, and so it was a time that we dived in, and we started releasing that earlier this year, and just finally got it out into its finality, just a couple of weeks ago, and it feels great to be on the other side of that journey.
You speak about a journey, Tim, and that's a great segue into the question I was going to ask. How hard was it when you first went into the pandemic, obviously being an artist and liking to perform and sell your wares? How hard was it not being able to do that?
Yeah, it was definitely a shock. But at the time, I think everyone was maybe naively of the thought that, oh, this is just going to last a little bit of time, then we're going to be out of it, and there's going to be something to go back towards. Like, this is a time, I know for myself, I was like, this is a time for me to get ready for the other side. Like, I think I'm generally speaking someone who, likes to be kept busy. I like to be kept busy so I don't have too much time to think, or a healthy bind between those two. But I was ready to go at the start. I think it's been one of those things where, as it's gone on longer, it's definitely I felt the wear of this, like, a whole new social structure we're kind of living in. But yeah, it's been a journey. But still, this music is something that I'm so proud to be putting out into the world. The beautiful thing about music is that once it's out, it's immortalized, it's timeless. It will forever catalog this period of life, which is not something I'd hoped or planned, but like, I'll forever be able to, like, hold up my record in my hands and be like, hey, this is the start of my solo career. This was the start of this project, and this is what got me through this crazy season of life.
Mate, that's a perfect segue for you to give us, for us and people watching, to see some of your wares, mate. Would love to hear a song.
Yeah, for sure. I might play the single, the first one that we released. It's called In Your Arms Again. It was the first song that we released earlier in March this year. We played a show. It was so much fun. In February, March, it was like one of the first shows that we kind of had back, and people were just so desperate and longing for music. First time we'd played any, like, really of these songs, or the band had really played together, and like 300 people came down to see us at the Nightcat, and it was just a surreal feeling, and an amazing way to kick off this, like, little solo project. And we've got a film clip. We turned that night into a little film clip for this song. There we go. Alrighty, let's give it a whirl. This is acoustic. I haven't got my 9-piece band with me tonight, but it's fun to revert back to how the songs are are born, which is usually at home in my bedroom. But yeah, all right, reverb button on. Here we go. All righty. That's coming through all right?
Perfect, mate.
Yeah. Excellent.
Who would I be if one day I woke up without you? Who would I be if we came too far to wander? I know it's been such a long, long time. I'm hoping we might still come to. For I would give it all just for you to say that, baby, I would give it all to be true. And I would give it all for you to be my girl. And baby, I would give it all just for you. And to be in your arms again. 'Cause what would I do to flick on back through the pages? And what would I do? Baby, I wouldn't do anything. No, it's been such a long, long time. I know that we'll always come to. For I would give it all just for you to say that, baby, I would give it all to be true. And I would give it all for you to be my girl. And baby, I would give it all just for you. It's these places that we've been, you know they wouldn't mean a thing without my baby. I wouldn't have a clue. And it's these pictures on our wall, our loving words still left untold. I would be lost without my baby. Blue. Whoa. For I would give it all just for you to say that, baby, I would give it all to be true. And I would give it all for you to be my girl. And baby, I would give it all just for you. Oh, baby, baby. Step back on me. I would give it all just for you to say that, baby, I would give it all to be true. And I would give it all for you to be my girl. And baby, I would give it all just for you. And to be in your arms again. And every day and every night until the end. Well, baby, baby, yeah. Just to be in your arms again.
Incredible, mate. Absolutely incredible. I don't use that lightly either, mate. That song was the first song that got me just absolutely captivated right from the start, mate. That just little gentle intro and then the little deep breath and then bang. It's you don't have many of those moments, mate. Honestly, we see a lot of gigs, and good friend of ours, Berkey, will attest to what a talent, mate. He was the first one to introduce me to your music, and shout out to Berkey. He couldn't be with us tonight, but I'm sure he is watching as he is. And yeah, it's mate, what a gift. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I appreciate those words a lot. Making music so much fun. To be, continuing to do it for a job. They always say, keep going until you make it. I'm at a point where I do it for a job, and that's a lot of fun. I've been at that point for a few years now. I obviously keep to hope pushing up and sharing this music and playing this music, performing it with my closest buddies and family. Yeah, we'll keep doing that and try and get it out to a few more ears there in the world.
Mate, the best thing for me, sorry, as the first time I've heard you sing, I had a quick look at some of the reviews that people put up, and one of the comments I saw was soulful blues with a hit of bang, ready to boogie. Mate, that song was spot on. As said, you just eased into it. Then, mate, your voice, I like to think in the shower I can sing pretty well, but mate, your voice is absolutely amazing, mate. That's such a gift. And thank you for sharing with us.
Nah, thank you again. Thank you so much for having me. That quote, I think, was my publicist, Emily. She's amazing. She works with so many amazingly talented people, but she coined that, I think, back in February, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take that. It sounds great. It makes me sound, well, for me, so much better than I am. But no, it's greatly appreciated.
Oh, I think the cap fits pretty well on you, mate. The cap fits. If the cap fits, you can wear it.
Hey, thanks heaps.
Sure does. And one thing, Berkey did comment as well, that he didn't miss you, mate. He actually thinks you're a terrible dancer, though. So that's great. It's great you can sing, mate. It's great you can play guitar. Joining the humble moves of the dance floor. That's a whole nother talent, mate. So I'm sure he's being very facetious. I'm sure you look forward to, mind you, just on that, not too much space up on stage, mate, with a 9-piece band. So just tell us a little bit about, that whole 9-piece scenario. And there's plenty of flavor there for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It, half of them are just like friends and family. My roots coming out of high school, I started we call it like a folk pop bromance duo. We kind of came up with that. It was called Wolf and Willow, which was heaps of fun. And so James, my duo partner in that, he still plays lead electric guitar, which is so much fun. And he has some, I think we just gave him songwriting credits across the album because it was too difficult to put down what he sprinkled on and what he didn't. My brother plays trumpet. My old housemate plays saxophone and recorded bass throughout the band. I sing with my partner, my fiance. She sings up on stage as well with us all the time. It's very incestuous, but in a wholesome way, I hope.
In the best way,
yeah. yeah. But yeah, no, it's great. So we do those live shows, and it's a live energy. I have lots of people telling us, like, we're all digging it out here, but even if we weren't, that'd be totally fine because you guys are joining yourself on stage. And whatever the double bind or dynamic is there, people always say that the connection of the band up on stage is something that's pretty special, which I think so. Which is why I wanted to give them some sort of feature name. I didn't want it just to be like Timothy Wolf Band, because when we play with these guys, it's so much bigger than what I could ever do alone. And I love doing that. I think the reason I've gone the kind of more solo project route is just so I can explore songwriting further on down the track. I love songwriting, and I want to put out lots of different albums across the years. And I look forward to doing that, exploring that with all sorts of songwriters. But for this season right now, this 9-piece band, the Howlers, that we have is, it's been an incredible journey.
You spoke about coming out of high school, mate. Sort of going back to sort of high school and your sort of early time getting into music, did you have like a family member or a mate who sort of the music that you listened to and you thought, oh, that's the genre that's got me hooked, and then you went and did what you did? Where'd that sort of start for you?
Yeah, my mum's a music teacher. She's done the whole band thing. My uncle as well. They've both done like the touring gig scenes, and I don't know, I guess I just grew up wanting to do that. Me and my uncle at Christmas, we still always have a bit of who's done more gigs this year kind of thing. Mind you, he'd be about 74 now, but he still usually gets me, I think. But yeah, born into it in that kind of way. into high school, you know, kind of these formative years and formative friendships. Back in those days, I think I was listening to metal, and my best buddy James, who I was talking about, he was listening to jazz. And so we somehow culminated this friendship and got into country and folk. Don't ask me how we worked that one out, but yeah, it was great. We'd sit on the bus on the way to school and we'd trade all these different music types. And yeah, we've ended up finding ourselves listening to Marlon Williams, Jason Isbell, dating back to, you know, Bob Dylan, Tom Waits, Johnny Cash, being the kind of threads that we draw from now.
Oh, fantastic.
All right, well, that might be a good segue into the next little number you've got for us, mate.
Yeah, cool. Speaking of some of those guys, I feel like I have to play a song off the record called Out Tomorrow. I think it's the only acoustic track on the record. But I wanted to get it in there as a bit of a means of what's gonna be to come in further albums. You know, more of that kind of acoustic balladry, I guess. But this was a song written on tour in Nashville with my old band. We were just soaking up all of the fun and all of the stories, history that Nashville has to offer. And on the front of our Airbnb steps, we bought some like 100-year-old guitars that day, and we went on a crazy adventure with them that night. We ended up playing a random gig to some strangers in a pub. They paid us in our favorite form of remuneration, a couple cold ones. And yeah, the next day, just inspired by living this strange, you know, ridiculous life that we wrote this song just, I guess, about the better hopes of tomorrow. We've released it, you know, obviously in the middle of a pandemic, and that's just, you know, remained true. It's almost taken on a different level for me. But yeah, thanks, guys. This one's called Out Tomorrow. Go. A young man will follow what his father is written, to find a young lady with whom he is smitten, a wife and 3 children by 23, a simple life of love, joy and family, a life soon forgotten down the straight and narrow, but he'll welcome all walks into his family home. To welcome and nurture are the threads that he'll sew as he weaves into this tapestry. It's our tomorrow. She works round the clock in her suit and tie, a diligence and vigor that no one could deny. She's trying to make a mark on an industry with a gender wage gap so discriminatory. We need female bosses and CEOs as an ends hopping on about family goals. To lead amongst nations are the threads that she'll sew as she weaves into this tapestry. It's our tomorrow. The birds of the vine, so fickle and twine, lying all as the sun grips the morning. The birds of the vine, so fickle and twine, lying all as the sun grips the morning. And this is our canvas. Now come, let us paint. $40,000 on my education to government-funded asshole-like organizations. I won't change the world with my arts degree, but I find my joy in people, rhymes and melody. If we love a little more, as we are all on our way, we might leave the world a little better than it looks today. For we all leave into this tapestry. It's our tomorrow.
Mate, absolutely fantastic, Tim.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks heaps, guys.
Song lyrics are obviously one big part of what makes up a song, and obviously these are no exception for you, mate. They're pretty deep, intense words, and along these journeys for you. Just tell us a little bit about the songwriting process for you and how you kind of go about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a volume songwriter. I spend a lot of intentional time doing it. Usually, like, it's good to have a bit of a concept in mind, but also just, you know, I guess that song talks about a canvas. Just get stuff down on the canvas, and sometimes songs figure themselves out. I think that one was like probably me as a 24-year-old trying to figure out the big changes of the world. I grew up in a small country town, moved up to the city when I was 20 years old. Here I am in America, taking in all these cultural changes and trying to figure out what the world means and where it's going. And it kind of walks through like very linearly. I don't think that's actually a word, but it's quite a linear approach.
It is now.
Yeah, it is now. But yeah, just working through those shifts, and then it zones in. I often like to do that, you know, kind of grander aspects. Oh, excuse me, that's my dishwasher finishing up.
All right, all good.
All good.
Yeah, the zoning out with these things and then bringing it back to yourself, because I think that's something that can resonate with people, telling your personal kind of story. So that's a bit of a songwriting thing that I like to do. But
You said then, Tim, and just hearing you speak and as you sing, and as it backed me up here, that's what I've really enjoyed about having the guests on. Like I love a lot of music, but especially the guests I've had on here, I feel they're telling me their story in their songs, like, which to me it's such a gift that they're sharing, obviously with us watching the podcast, but others as well. That's and you, like other guests, your humility is amazing. That you say you thank us, but as will back me up here, we're the ones who are lucky to have people like yourself on the show, mate. Your talent's immense, and I say that in no small way. Very amazing talent, mate.
No, thanks heaps, guys. But like, don't sell yourself short. I saw some incredible musicians. I caught Ben Mastwick at the Tamworth Music Festival. Geez, it must have been a few years ago now. He's fantastic. And Matt Joe Gow, I see doing lots of incredible things. That were but a couple names I saw off that list. So yeah, mad props to you guys for what you're building, because yeah, I think life is, I don't know, kind of a canvas with whatever you've got, and you know, you just try and make it up along the way. That's what we're all doing.
Yeah,
You sure are.
Smart, wise words.
You sure are. Mate, let's touch on the new album. It's a nice clean canvas, mate, a nice wide album. I love to see it with the old school blended sign written font. I love it with a little blend. One of my absolute loves, and a great promo shot as well. So just tell us a little bit about the inspiration, just even on the album cover.
The album cover was put together with great friend of mine, Claire Warren. She's fantastic. Shameless plug. Everyone in Melbourne, she go do her photo things, film, photography, digital. She does it all. But also just a great eye for detail. I think my favorite thing about her, if she's not vibing something, she will outrightly tell you. And I think that's a great thing when you're making art. just having that strict discernment on what's working and what's not working. And yeah, just on one of the days, went over to her place, and we set up a little studio and we put that together. That was coupled by a friend of hers, Josh Gerard. He did all the design, and he's been doing some amazing work, design work for other people's album covers. I feel like with the first draft that he sent me, yeah, there it is. He's done an incredible job with that. He listened to some of the music and we had a bit of a chat, and then he sent me that pretty much like a first draft. And I was like, oh man, like you've got me, you know exactly what you're doing. And it's always lovely when things are a seamless process, because it's definitely not always the case. But this was a pretty easy one. Getting the records is a different story. With all of the the blocks and whatever we've got going on now, the slow shipping, but really hoping to have them for some Christmas presents for some people, because as soon as they come out, I'll be filling up my van with them all and I'll be cutting laps around the city.
Yeah, awesome. Just an interesting point on that, and I'd like you to kind of touch on your thoughts on it. Obviously, vinyl's back, and back with a vengeance, back in a big way. It's so cool to see vinyl spun again, and honestly, it just sounds different, feels different, and it's so probably perfect for your style of music as well, to see that old school record player just comfortably tuning away no matter where it is, and hearing it on different speakers. You must love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Getting that, that 45 RPM, the creme de la creme. Yeah, it's a really cool thing. It's a medium's cassette, CD. They've come in, they've gone out, but I think vinyl's here to stay. Just in the sound quality, I think my favorite thing as an artist as well, though, is the art that you can put together in having a record. Yeah. That's something that was such a fun process. And, just speaking about Josh, we've got a gatefold, like open up booklet that, I essentially make these for myself because it's so much fun. But they do catalog these times. They catalog lyrics that and experiences, which is my favorite thing about other artists, being able to have theirs. You can't see what I'm looking at, but I've got my wall of albums just behind the camera here. And I've got a Dallas Green City in Color Live one where I was at one of those shows in Canada, and I see the little bits and pieces that he has inside there. And I'm like, oh, it's so cool to see into your brain through that. I've got Jeff Buckley, Grace, John Mayer, Born and Raised, just to name a few, and to be able to see into these artists' brains, learn a little bit more about who they are and try and take on some of that inspiration. It's just a cool format to then be able to hold in your hand and have that piece of tangible access to the people that you idolize.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because album art was kind of dying a slow death, so to speak, because we got to the point where we were down to a postage stamp almost. That was about it. That's what you got on kind of iTunes or something like that, and that was as big as it was going to get. Long live commercial album art again, mate, and it's a great chance. And I know you're doing a great job just on your merch program as well. Hand-drawn designs and things like that. I think, things like mugs and all sorts of tote bags and all sorts of cool things you can pull off now. It's just another way to turn over a few bucks and get supporters of yourself and, out there representing the brand.
Yeah, no, I love it too. Like Melbourne artists and all my friends, half the shirts that I wear are band t-shirts. I'm not wearing a band t-shirt tonight, but this is from a buddy who makes pottery out in the East. It's all the clothes that I think that I wear now. It's something that I love. So it was like something that I guess I wanted to put back out. But yeah, no, it's great. It's good fun.
Yeah, sure is. All right. Just before we go with another couple of questions, I think we'll play another track, mate, if you got one.
Yeah, for sure. I get to this point and I'm like, "Oh, what should I play? I don't know. I might
Have you
throw
got
in
a
a.
favorite one, Tim? Like, have you got one that of your songs that you really love, like that you enjoy playing more than others?
It's so tough. My favorite one to play live is definitely Down. I think that's the second track on the record.
Yep.
That one by far, playing that with the band is the most fun. Lyric wise, like the one that I just played is probably my favorite. The one that I'm probably happiest with how it came out on the record is maybe Foreign Throne, the seventh track, because of the big jam session we got to have.
Yeah, just on that, I think it's great to see a big 8-minute frenzy. It's awesome to have on an album. Yeah, don't ever hide it down the album, mate. Those kind of songs deserve airplay. That's for sure. Love to see a big 8-minute solo out there.
Yeah, and a mad props to my buddy James, the guitarist from that same old project, the guy who I've been on this musical journey with for such a long time. That's him in there shredding that big time solo. I was on the lap steel. He was on the electric guitar for that last little section as we did it. Bruce Springsteen's old Gibson 335, which was so nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Nice.
I suppose I should play that song then now.
No, you've talked it up, mate, so we're dying to hear it now.
I usually only play this one with the band, so I haven't played it in a while. So hopefully I remember how all the lyrics go. I should be fine though. There we go. We gave our all on the hope to see these wild hearts. Could it be time to set them free? Lights go dim and I'm left a shade in all I'd hoped we'd be. Love is ruined, holy darkness blinds. A granted wish, but our own company. And as I long for some silence, well, I would try to see when I long for, and hold to this feeling that I've been so naive. Please just know to how my will was torn when you'd asked me why you'd stay. There I froze and breathed a speechless breath, and I watched you walk away. Still I long for some silence where I would try to see when I hold to this feeling. It's been but purgatory. We gave our all, and I should have known. These wild hearts are foreign thrown.
Fantastic, mate.
Special, absolutely special. And Berkey says it beautifully. Look out, world, he's coming. And that's that. Feel free to use that little quote too, mate, because you're definitely on the up, mate. And talent's one thing, mate, but being able to deliver it so beautifully, just even in an intimate setting like this, with nothing more than a guitar and a mic, mate, that's when you really know you got pure talent, mate. So congratulations, mate, and keep nurturing that. And we look forward to hearing, obviously more than an 8-track album, and you seeing and performing. I dare say you got so much more in the kitty, mate, to get back out to the rest of the world. So exciting, mate. Tell us a little bit about what you've got coming up. I know we've got a show coming up in a week or so's time.
Yeah, that's bloody crazy to say. That terrifies me. I haven't played a show since July. I got a lot to do between now and a couple of weeks time. But yeah, we've got a show at the Corner Hotel. That's gonna be pretty special. A venue that I've for so long wanted to play. So it's going to be cool it's going to be really special to play in there. And then kind of heading on from there, it's going to be nice to tie off this season of music in a bit of a bow. Like I definitely have so many songs, EPs sitting on the shelf. And one of those things about music is that this album was written and kind of put together over a year ago now, and I've been thinking of the next ones for, a bit of time now. And that's kind of where my head's already at a little bit, but it'll be nice to put a ribbon on this. I think I'm going to take a little bit of an exhale and a breather from what this year has been, concentrate on a few other things, jump back into writing, and then, I'm sure that'll only take a month or so before I'm ready to gear up and get going. I would love to be able to get out on the road and play some shows. That's what I love. That's, the dwelling place of what I want this music to be is from the live show. So, if we can get back out there and our landscape allows for it, I'll be out on the road next year.
Awesome. So, I mean, one thing that's very, very poignant to us is being able to release great music during such a average time for so many that's got us through. And mate, this not only because of the way we've got you on the show, and thanks for giving us some of your time, mate, on a Thursday night, just before we kind of really get back out and focused on bands and venues again. But yeah, to have one of those albums as a highlight for us as well for 21, mate, you'll go up on the honor wall, mate, for sure. And fair to say, Cuz, I think I'll probably, speaking for you as well, and probably Berkey, that I think we've got a new clubhouse leader, mate. And I know we talk about a couple of, inspirations of yours potentially that we mentioned before. And we've had some great artists on. Mate, you were right up with them, and you hold, you very much hold any of those titles with all those guys. So I think personally, and I'm not just saying it to pump your tires because you're on the show, mate, but I've really enjoyed this one, and just how spot on that kind of range is that you've got. I think it's really special, mate, and you don't get to hear that too often in a male voice.
Yeah. Mate. No, I love to get up and try and hit those high notes. But yeah, thank you so much to be amongst such company is fantastic. Yeah, you guys again have had some fantastic songwriters on this show.
Mate, you hold your own, but now comes to the hard questions, mate. Like, Az mightn't have warned you about this, but I get the job of asking the hard-hitting questions, mate, sort of like tonight sort of stuff, like David Frost sitting down with the leaders of the world, all that sort of hard stuff. So, mate, I hope you're prepared for, or you won't be prepared for this, but take a breath, get a glass of water, get yourself comfortable. Mate, you're having a dinner party, Tim, and you can invite anybody you like, but the only specification is that there's only 5 people you can invite. So they can be living or dead. Who are the 5 people you'd like to invite?
All right. I like this. These are great questions. I think about these things too often. So you say I'm not prepared, but totally prepared. All right, let's go. Jesus, change the world up. Got to have him there. Hitler, that's a strange dynamic. Let's go. Selfishly, one of like my musical idols, either probably got to go with Dallas Green here. Who else are we going to go? I'm a bit of a basketball fan, bit of a strange one, but Carmelo Anthony would be really cool to have there. And all right, we've got last person that we need to meet. Bit of new, bit of old. Strange one. Maybe Vera Lynn, musician from like the 30s, and I've been listening to like, you know, some of the songs from that era, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, We'll Meet Again, these songs born of like, you know, World War I and World War II. Yep. I suppose we've already got Hitler in the mix, but like to see maybe the other side, people writing music about these crazy situations, that'd be cool. And a very dynamic, eclectic room.
Fantastic eclectic mix. And thankfully, as the tradition's back, we were getting a bit concerned there. Our last episode, someone said they'd invite their mum, which is lovely. We all love our mums. But in true tradition, like the 62 before that person, our last guest, you didn't mention your partner. Partner's never going to mention. Siblings very rarely get brought up. People old enough to have children, never get to mention. I love it. They go for the famous, I love this basketballer. Only because I'm living in a very small house and my family can hear me, I'd probably have to name my kids and my wife pretty early, and I probably wouldn't get them all in.
Yeah, that's funny. I should have probably put my mum in there, although I'm going to see her. They still live regionally, and I'm heading back this weekend as the borders lift. So I would have put my mum in there maybe last week when we were still in the unknown, but you know, I get to see her this weekend, so that'll be cool.
Az is pretty good with the buttons, mate. If you ask him nicely, he might put a disclaimer up, or we might just edit that bit out, mate, and get it back on the. But unfortunately, up in the corner where it says live, your mum mightn't believe you.
Well, can you slide my partner in there as well, then, just to keep me out of strife?
Absolutely. It is an exciting time. Just on that, let's touch on that Victoria's opening up again, and we do get to travel regionally. So if you're out and about and can get out and about, make sure you get up and support any of these regional venues. Macedon Railway rings a bell. Archie's Creek Hotel. There's going to be some awesome gigs coming up there at those two great venues, and there's plenty of others. So festival time almost. Let's hope we can get up and get some of these festivals going again. And the great part is, mate, this weekend you get to have dinner with your mum, so that's an exciting time. So tell her not to feel out of it, mate. She'll be back on the lover list in no time, mate.
Heck yeah, I think Dad's firing up the slow cooker. It's gonna be a good time.
No,
and one thing just on that corner hotel gig, mate, not a bad support either. Just quietly, a couple of supports there. Steph Strings, an incredible talent. If you haven't seen Steph Strings, she's worth admission price alone. And Riley Catherall, I don't know too much about Riley, but looking forward to catching up with him.
Look up Riley. He's a phenomenal talent as well. Both of them in their own right. Yeah, it's the best thing about throwing shows and album launches is, you know, getting supports on that you just selfishly want to catch on a night out as well. Yeah, definitely. And T-shirt I'm wearing now, the Crookeds, was a support band at a gig for the Casanovas, probably around just after the first lockdown, I reckon it was, when that opened up, and it was a little venue called Stay Gold in Brunswick, great little venue. So look, hopefully, Tim, that some of these venues get to hang around. I know it's been a tough time on so many. So if anyone, shout out to anyone out there that feels they can get out and support a venue, go and pour a beer and throw any money you can over the bar in the next couple of weeks. I know they will welcome you with open arms. So we look forward to seeing you at the next gig very soon, mate. And it'll be 2 weeks for you. But we've got a couple of other gigs coming up, which we'll touch on after you leave us, that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's a really exciting time. So
I know there's going to be plenty more booked for you shortly. There's no doubt you're going to have a busy lead into Christmas. But most importantly, mate, enjoy the album. It's so much be so exciting. You must be pinching yourself that you've got it out there now, and now you can actually go and play it. And the really exciting part is being able to record a little bit at a great little venue like the Nightcat, which is such a cool venue for your style of music, and to have a big band, and just great to be able to do that. So part of, that's all part of the gig now, isn't it? Getting, great, not only the album, but support material based on that to discuss. So once again,
absolutely
thanks for coming on, mate. And what we will do is we'll get you to play one more, and then we might let you go. And we'd love to have you on again, mate, with maybe in a few months' time. We talk about how the album's gone after Christmas, and we talk about what else is coming up, and maybe get even a couple of boys or girls from the band on and have a chat to a little bit more of the band, and maybe a live jam somewhere.
Yeah, fantastic. I've just got the tech at home to be able to handle it, I think, but that would be fantastic. Man, catch me next April. We might even have a new little baby EP coming out.
What we've actually spoke about as Tim, going forward, ideally, if you were doing a show with your support acts or whatever, that we'd almost take what's been happening live. So it'd be tonight, what's been happening and presenting Tim wherever, and take the show on the road, mate. Because as said, and I agree wholeheartedly what he said, mate, you are new clubhouse leader, mate. So we'd be very keen to come and watch you play your trade, mate.
No, thank you. One more. I might hit up a little bit of a cover, if I may.
Sounds good.
Ooh, I've turned my reverb button on too early. Yeah, as the lockdown kicked in last year, a song that came to mind, and I was just talking about Vera Lynn. What was that? Johnny Cash redid it, but We'll Meet Again. And yeah, that was just a song that was, in my mind when it kicked in. I was like, oh, I can't wait for that. I said it with excitement, and now I think I sing it and I say it with, maybe a little bit more languishing or a little bit more lethargic, but still we're back, and hopefully, there's a little bit more hope for the future. But I might play that one. It's a beautiful song.
No problem.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, and I don't know when. I'm sure we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies chase the dark clouds far, far away. Will you please say hello to all the folks that I know? You tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again. I don't know where, and I don't know when, but I'm sure we'll meet again some sunny day. For I'm sure we'll meet again some sunny day.
Mate,
Brilliant, mate.
absolutely as you said, an amazing song, but an amazing take on it, mate. Really good, mate. As I said, and on behalf of everyone watching, mate, thanks for jumping on tonight and giving us your time on a Thursday night, mate. All the best with the album going forward and the gig coming up. Or I should say gigs, as I said, because, mate, I'm tipping you'll be getting a few more gigs over the next short time now that we're out and about. Can't wait to get out and see you, mate. Again, as I said, thanks for coming on. Look forward to catching up with you in the new year, mate, when the album's out there and you've got some sort of feedback, and obviously it'd be good feedback to see us again, mate. Thanks so much, Tim, and appreciate you coming on.
Thanks heaps, guys. We'll be sure to grab a beer at the gig.
Look forward to it, mate. Thanks again,
mate.
Tim.
Thanks,
See you,
Tim.
guys. Thanks heaps.
How good was that? Hey?
Mate.
We talk about clubhouse leaders. We're going straight to number one, mate. What a talent. Berkey, thanks for hooking us up with Tim. And Tim, once again, thanks for responding back to us, mate, so quickly and giving us an hour of your time on a Thursday. I've been blessed, mate. That's a great kickstart to a longish kind of weekend for me. Exciting for sure.
Mate, how good his take on a song that's probably 80 years old.
Yep.
Just made it sound like a song he wrote yesterday.
Yeah, and put his little touch on it, which is always was always great. So I'll just put up a couple of little quick links again. If you don't know where to find Timothy Wolf, that's the spot, timothywolfmusic.com, and also his link tree, which has got some review and also film clips and all sorts of stuff. So that's the spot to find him. Just before we go, mate, I know we've got a couple of things coming up. We've got a long weekend, obviously, to get through. An exciting time for you, enjoying the Clip Clops, mate. And we've got a few things going on. There's a couple of gigs. There's a couple of gigs out there and about for this weekend. There's plenty going on there, and then we've got another one with the Music Bowl as well, with a couple of your favourites as we discussed last week, and then we start going into next week.
Sorry, mate. Can you go back for a sec? Still possibly the greatest named band of all time.
Oh, absolutely. Amel and the Snickers, mate. If you haven't seen them, talk about those guys absolutely rock it, mate. If you haven't seen them, put it on the list, mate, for sure. I've seen those guys a couple of times, and one gig I saw them at the Tote was just absolutely off absolute taps, mate. They love it, and it's great to see. And one that has sold out recently is Tim Rogers with Draft Dodgers, which a lot of people don't know that Tim's in that band, Draft Dodgers. It's a cracking three-piece lineup, and Dallas Crane rocking the Brunswick Ballroom. So that's where we kind of kick off in a couple of weeks' time. And then on the Saturday night, off to see Luke Sinclair, which was a rescheduled gig at one of our favourite venues, which is George Lane in St Kilda. And then we start from there. We start to move into Marshmallow Overcoat with Ash Naylor, Brent Wolfenden, and Davey Lane, with a tribute to Rolling Stones and the great Charlie Watts. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and that'll be a great way to kind of start to round out November for us.
Fun, mate. Fun.
And obviously, we mustn't forget the big gig that's really coming up after tonight's conversation, and that is, if you haven't booked a ticket, make sure you do, because they will sell out pretty quickly. Friday the 12th, it's coming up quick at the Corner. Obviously, the picture behind me, the Corner Hotel, it's an exciting venue, mate. This is probably still my favourite Melbourne venue as far as classic punters club. A rock venue, but I've seen so much more than just rock there. But I absolutely love it. When that place is pumping at full capacity, there's not much better venue.
I think our sort of wheelhouse in sort of 40s to 50s and even younger. It's a rite of passage. If you haven't, I think, speaking to musicians or artists, it's a rite of passage to play there, but also as a punter, you want to go there and watch bands. It's like back in the days used to be to get in there underage, for want of a better word, but now it's going to see a band at the Corner. You think, God, it's still a great venue. Yeah,
it sure is, and I think it's kind of great that it hasn't lost its original kind of makeup. You know, that pole right in the middle of the dance floor, mate. It's not going anywhere, and it's one of those spots that people sneak around or sneak up to, or it's in the way, and it's always one of those talking points. But I absolutely love the corner. It's one of my favourite venues, always will be. And as Tim said before, to play a Melbourne iconic venue like the corner is an exciting time. That's exactly where musicians want to be. And then there was the great days of the Gershwin room at the SB, and then you start moving on for other venues in there. But there's always bands that play there that have come in internationally and play a secret show at the corner or something like that. So Tim gets to put his name on the list, mate, of all those great artists that have played at that venue. And that little backstage room, mate, I'm sure could tell plenty of little tales. So
yes.
It's definitely exciting. I look forward to having a chat, mate, again in the next coming days, and we will announce, next few artists that we've got coming up. We've got a couple of really exciting ones, mate, who I'd never thought we'd kind of get to or reach. But it looks like the world's turning, mate, and that's a great sign for us. As you and I touched on before, that people get to, we only put this out there so people could just have a chat and listen, and we'd talk about what was going on in our lives and things like that, and to be able to reach into an artist and hear a little bit about an artist that you wouldn't hear about, obviously on stage persona, and then you get to understand a little bit about their background and their influences and where they've come from. And Tim obviously ticks that box again of one of those humble artists that is blessed with an incredible talent, and we really look forward to being out and not sharing the stage, but I guarantee it, just as important as Tim will testify, that to have a good crowd enjoying your music must give you a lot of satisfaction. So it's an exciting time, mate, and look forward to seeing you out there, cuz.
Oh, look, mate, on the same, mate. And as I said, when we started this, I used to go and watch bands many years ago, and I was a lot younger. Then obviously starting up the friendship with you, and then obviously Berkey, like the great man Dave Cosmo, who's just put up a little post there that you saw. It's been fantastic because I've got not only made great friends, but getting back now out into that sort of live music scene, and people who I wouldn't have got to know, I now do know and wanted to call them friends. And as you touched on, mate, the amazing thing for me is their humility. Like, they are immensely, immensely talented, but every single one of them, doesn't matter what music genre, whether it's art is in terms of photography, drawing, whatever it might be, entertainment, they're all very humble, and they've all said thanks for us for the opportunity. So I think it's it's great. It's been a great learning curve for me about myself, but I've loved doing it as well too.
Yep, it's been great to have you along for the ride, mate. You're not going anywhere, and
No.
It's a little bit of a zig and zag show, mate, tonight, just with the two of us. And we normally have a couple of others on, and I look forward to having the boys back. And just to shout out, but what would have been the 65th birthday today of Spencer P. Jones, who passed away a couple of years ago, and a shout out to Angie, his partner. That we're all thinking of you, Ange, and Spencer. James Young put up a very touching post that, he was a residency there for 3 years, every Friday afternoon at the Cherry Bar. And it's sad not to have him with us, but he was an absolute superstar, and his music will live on forever. And just a final shout out to one of our good friends of the show, Ash Naylor, who finally gets to grace the stage after 2 years of being in the church and never hardly playing a gig or getting to play a gig. He finally
is a real member.
He finally gets to strap on the guitar, mate, and call himself a member of the church. So shout out to Ash, and enjoy being out there, mate. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah,
all right, cuz, let's leave it at that, mate.
I don't know.
We will catch up more than likely tomorrow.
I'd say so. See you soon, buddy.
Right,
really good.